Mac Jones is out. It is Brian Hoyer's show. So again, what kind of offense and how do you think the Patriots are going to play it with Hoyer here? And can they be successful against the Green Bay Packers?
So one thing to keep in mind is that Brian Hoyer had another guy who wore the number 1 jersey who he tended to throw downfield to quite a bit when he did see some action. That was N'Keal Harry. And actually, N'Keal Harry had like some of his best career grabs, ironically, from Brian Hoyer. But you did see there were flashes of Hoyer was okay with throwing it downfield and trying to give his big bodies chances to make plays. I think we could see some of that, especially with the Patriots philosophically seeming to be wanting to be more of a downfield passing offense. I think they know they're going to have to compete with the Bills 2, possibly 3 times a year for a very long time. And those are shootouts. You want to understand, okay, what are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? Can we get downfield? How are we doing it? What are we doing well? At the same time, that's also because Mac is an underrated downfield passer. Now, he's been locked on to Devontae Parker a little bit too much this year. That's very obvious, just making some boneheaded throws. The thing is, and it's very frustrating, a lot of the throws are on the money. If there was no defender there, it would have been a beautiful completion. But obviously that's not the case. So I think part of it was the Patriots saying, like, we've seen Mac Jones be like the most productive downfield passer in college. Sure, he had a lot of weapons, but you still got to get the ball there. We saw like yesterday with Tua throwing it downfield to Tyreek on that interception. It's like, sure, you can have a speedster. Just because you have good players doesn't mean that you necessarily have the skill set to exploit it all the time. Mac has been very good throwing downfield. Yeah. We haven't seen like these bad underthrows or anything. It's just he has some poor decision-making. And then there's also times where it was an overthrow to Aguilar, but that was kind of an anomaly because then the next week he came back and had the long touchdown. But with Devontae, it's mostly just been knowing when to uncork that. Like you don't really want to throw to him against Xavier Howard. It's just not really, the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Right.
That was obviously a play that kind of ended in the worst case scenario, of course. But now going back to Brian Hoyer, I could see them scaling back the downfield passing attack because that's not what Brian Hoyer does. Will he? Absolutely. He's an NFL quarterback with plenty of experience. He knows his strengths and weaknesses. But what you saw a lot of from him when he was getting action, 2020 against the Chiefs, which was, not a memorable game for Hoyer. He had a couple really bad decisions in the red zone. Took a sack with no timeouts to end the half, which was really, really bad in a tight game when you needed even a field goal. And then he ended up getting benched when he fumbled in the red zone later in the third quarter. So, he's also said that he's grown from that game. So you're thinking, okay, Brian Hoyer.
He's grown older. Right.
He's older. But he said like that game haunts him. So I'm hoping he will just be smarter in those situations. That's all I mean by that. Because he's got the experience. Like those was boneheaded plays. But then in terms of consistency, he loves slants. There is no route he threw more than the slants and short in breakers. I think we could see a lot of those. The Patriots especially have a lot of those guys who are bigger bodies or at least very good contested catch guys. Kendrick Bourne had.
So I'm wondering,
Brian Hoyer last year.
Bourne, possibly the tight ends. There are some people who have been less involved where I think could benefit here.
Absolutely. I think Devontae Parker is going to be a guy he may also lock in on. But also Devontae Parker is a guy who's thrived running slants as well. It's something that Mac didn't throw a single time this year. He's very good at it. It's just something, the Patriots are trying to go deeper downfield. It's basically been goes, crossers, kind of downfield things to give players chances to get a lot of yards. Yeah. So I think that with Hoyer, we'll see more of that methodical kind of Brady type offense that we've seen traditionally from the Patriots, which could, work in their favor. They definitely have the talent to be able to put these drives together. We see it. Like, it doesn't look like a talent problem when you're watching the Patriots offense. They're statistically one of the more productive teams in the league. They just aren't finishing. They're making mental mistakes. They're turning the ball over. And hopefully a veteran like Hoyer, not that Mac can't do that, but hopefully someone like Hoyer can help kind of steady the ship in his absence of like, all right, guys, don't get on our own way. Obviously they're going to lean heavily on the ground game and really just give Hoyer shots when he needs to, maybe throw in some easy throws for him here and there when he gets the right looks. But yeah, I think we're going to see less of the downfield passing attack, but possibly more consistency with them just trying to more dink and dunk and just try to put drives together.
Yep. Well said. And again, I do think they are going to try to do some stuff with Hoyer. And I would agree, maybe some of the downfield stuff doesn't, but you're right. Almost like old Patriots offense, so to speak, get the ball out quick, get it in people's hands, get them running underneath and see if they can get some yak there.